Then let us see certain experiments on digestion. Then action of saliva on starch, we can find out how the saliva act on starch by taking some starch solution. You can make 1 spoon of rice flour and boil it in water. You can make a starch solution and put some fresh saliva in it. By after chewing some chewing gum, you can produce good fresh saliva and put that equal amount of saliva into the starch solution and keeping it in 38 degree Celsius for 15 minutes. You can keep it either in your hand, or you can make hot water or warm water at about 38 degrees Celsius and keep we can submerge that end of the test tube in that warm water. Then after some time you can do the sugar test. Then we can see the sugar is present. Maltose saliva can convert starch into maltose, so it can show the presence of sugar in that. The sugar test, how we do it, that we explain after this part. So we can find out the presence of sugar. The starch is converted into sugar in the presence of saliva. We can prove it. Then another is the action of pepsin on protein. Instead of protein, we know that the egg white containing the protein inside it. So we can take a small piece of boiled egg. Then we can uh, that place that small quantity or a small piece of egg, or we can make a cloudy solution with putting the egg in hot water. We can make a cloudy liquid of the egg white and take a small amount from it, and we can add pepsin into it. We can buy the pepsin. The ready-made pepsin is available from the laboratory, in the markets it is available. So we can a few drops of pepsin and hydrochloric acid we can add into it, and keeping it in the body temperature or about 35 degrees Celsius for nearly 10 minutes. Then after that we can see the cloudy appearance of that egg white may be changed into clear liquid. That solution will become clear solution. That shows that the pepsin can digest the protein, the egg white, into a soluble form. Amino acid in the soluble form it can change. That also we can understand. Then again, we know that the starch test, we know that in the starch solution, if we put some iodine, that will turn into blue black in color. That you know. How the test for glucose do, a particular solution known as the Felling solution. A little glucose is added to a blue green solution known as the Felling solution. The glucose test, that particular chemical use this the Felling solution, and it has the blue green color. Put some glucose in a test tube and add some Felling solution into it. Then after that we can heat it over a flame until the bubbles begin to appear, but not allowing it to boil. We can heat that solution in the flame. Then after heating it sometime, its color change from blue green to a deep brick red color with appearance of precipitate. A small piece of apple or grape will give the same result. Apple and grape also containing glucose in it. So if we heat it in the blue-green filling solution, after heating that solution will turn into brick red color. നിങ്ങൾക്കറിയാം ചുവന്ന brick red, what is the color? You know the color of the bricks. So that will change into brick red color, blue green, if it is presence of sugar is there. The same test is done in the diabetic patient. Diabetes mellitus, you know what is the presence of sugar molecule in the urine, sugar particles in the urine. The same test is done for the sugar patients. Then again, test for starch, you know. Then test for protein. Here a hard boiled egg white in a test tube. Add a few drops of dilute nitric acid. If a food contains protein inside, we can prove it by as a test for protein. We can take a hard boiled, ഒരു മുട്ട പുഴുങ്ങിയ ഒരു കഷ്ണമാണ് എടുക്കുന്നത്. Then add a few drops of dilute nitric acid. Dilute nitric acid has a light yellow color. Just to cover the food. How much we should take? Just to cover that piece of boiled egg. Then heat the test tube gently. Then rinse off the acid with water. After heating it sometime, then wash it well and remove the acid particle. Then add ammonium hydroxide. That are the chemicals that is present in our laboratory. In our school laboratory, these ammonium hydroxide, nitric acid, etc. are there. You would note a color change, first from white to yellow. Then after adding ammonium hydroxide, that yellow piece of egg change into orange color, bright orange color, that will turn. That is the presence of protein. If any food content, if you suspect, if you want to know whether that food particle contain the protein content, we can do the same test. Take that food particle, then first add some dilute nitric acid and heat it. After that we can add some ammonium hydroxide, then heat it. After washing away the acid particle, ammonium hydroxide, then we can see the color change. That food particle, if it change into yellow, then it will change into, when adding ammonium hydroxide, when it change into orange color, we can assume that the food particle will contain the protein content. Then what is the test for fat and oil? Rub a piece of food particle over a plain paper or a butter paper. We can see the spot rubbed turn into translucent. Translucent meaning especially when viewed against the light. That paper, plain paper, that can allow, you know that if we put or apply oil on a paper, that paper turns into translucent. In that way we can test, we can understand that the particle containing the fat particle. Then test for the presence of water. Cobalt chloride paper. If any food particle, if you want to know if it contain the water content, using the cobalt chloride paper, that color, when it is dry, that paper will be blue in color, that will turn into pink color if the food content if the food contain water particles. If you want to check that food particle, if it has water inside it, using the cobalt chloride paper, you can test for water. Then test for the presence of minerals. As example, here place a piece of banana or potato in a crucible. Crucible is a vessel, particular vessel. It appears like our porcelain vessel. സോസർ പോലെ ഇരിക്കും. പോഴ്സലിൻ, നമ്മുടെ വീട്ടിലൊക്കെ ഉപയോഗിക്കുന്ന പോഴ്സലിൻ സോസർ പോലുള്ള ഒരു ഉപകരണമാണ് ക്രൂസിബിൾ, എ വെസൽ. ഹീറ്റ് till it burns completely. An ash is left behind that does not burn. The ash indicates the mineral substance. Other carbon dioxide or nitrogen, another content present in that food material may turn into gas and escape out. If something unburned substance remain in the crucible, that show the presence of mineral in the food particle. Thank you for listening the class. We completed the lesson. You read it thoroughly and try to find out the answers.